and welcome to another video. Throughout history, various individuals have shown exemplary ability on the battlefield, and as such, are considered some of the greatest warriors throughout history. And today, I'm giving you my top 10 warriors throughout history. Generally, on this list, we're going to be doing soldiers, generals, and the likes, with one exception. You'll see. Starting this list at number 10, we have Floma. At the peak of the Roman Empire's rule, gladiatorial combat was ever prevalent and popular. And of all of the gladiators, none were better than Floma. Wielding his trident and net combo, he never lost his entire career. And he was so good that he actually gained his freedom 4 separate times, but denying it each time just because he wanted to keep fighting in the Colosseum. Coming in at number 9, we have Julius Caesar. Now, Julius Caesar, while physically nothing at all too impressive, yet is, however, undisputedly an amazing general, because his soldiers had an undying loyalty to him, that they, under his orders, completed the impossible, such as the time when he ordered them to build a bridge across some water to an island. They did so, they went over the bridge, walked over the entire island, walked back over the bridge and destroyed it, just to prove to the people on the island that they could do it at any time they wanted. And it's been proven that in the time they did it, it should be impossible, but it was done under Caesar's orders. Coming in at number 8, we have Mad Jack. Now, when you hear at first that his primary weapons were a long sword and a longbow, along with a set of bagpipes, it doesn't seem too impressive, too out of the ordinary, until you realize that he was a soldier in World War II, where guns were ever prominent. This guy literally stormed the beaches of Normandy with a sword in his hand. Honestly, I don't think I have to explain any further, but I should say, he survived the war. And due to this, he easily makes the list. I mean, he brought a sword to a gunfight, literally. Coming in at number 7, we have Leonidas. Now, Leonidas is, as you probably know from the movie 300, at one point he was the king of Sparta. Now, of course, historically speaking, the entire Greek army was closer to 7,000, not 300. However, at the end of the Battle of Thermopylae, Leonidas told the rest of the Greek armies to retreat, while he and his Spartans held the battlefield. And while Leonidas and almost every one of the Spartans died in the battle, they truly showed that the Spartans were amazing warriors. And, of course, earned him a spot on this list. Coming in at number 6, we have Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, much like Caesar, is undisputedly one of the greatest generals in history, but not so much for the blind loyalty of his followers, but more so for his amazing strategy and battlefield abilities. His strategies could go anywhere from psychological warfare, like having each of his soldiers build 5 fires instead of 1, so that it made it appear that his army was 5 times larger than it actually was. 2 normal battlefield strategies like the Great Retreat, which is probably my favorite of all battlefield strategy of all time. Shy of the Phalanx, maybe. But, in the end, he ultimately, in his life, managed to conquer more land than any general in the history of the world. Due to that, he is one of the greatest generals ever. Coming in at number 5, we have Alexander the Great. Another general, but this guy was always on the battlefield. And as soon as and I could talk about this guy for a long time. Might do another video on him eventually, but as soon as he got the throne as king of Macedonia, he went on a multiple year long trek with his army, conquering every place he went across. Naming most of the places after himself, and I believe one after his horse. But in the end, he never lost. In the end, the only reason why he stopped was because his soldiers wanted to go home. However, he never made it home. He fell ill due to the injuries he has sustained from his many battles, and died, with his last words being that his kingdom shall go to the strongest. Now, and if you want to hear about all the injuries that slowly led to his immune system becoming shot enough for him to get sick and dying, make sure to ask in the comments about the 9 lives of Alexander the Great. Coming in at number 4, we have the White Feather. His real name, Carlos Halfcock, was a U.S. Marine in the Vietnam War, and to this day is undoubtedly the greatest sniper to ever live. While he may not have the highest kill count, he definitely beats out everyone else. So one of the most famous shots ever was against a sniper that he dueled in the forest, named Cobra. Well, the Cobra, but he ended up killing the Cobra by shooting him through the scope of his rifle, with the bullet never grazing the sides. And the reason they call him the White Feather was because he wore a white feather on his helmet. The reason? To give his opponents a better chance. He never died in Vietnam. He died many years after the war due to MS. And he is undoubtedly the greatest sniper to ever live. Coming in at number 3, we have Ivar the Boneless. Now, the reason why why Ivar the Boneless is here is because he was born a Viking, but he had a rare bone disorder that made his legs completely useless. And yet he still fought on the battlefield because, well, he was a Viking. He wasn't going to not let that slow him down. He had his soldiers carry him onto the battlefield while he shot people with a bow. While giving orders to his men. The reason he makes it so high on this list is because the guy didn't have working legs, but he was still on the battlefield. Due to this, he definitely makes the list. Even if he is considered not to be the strongest of Ragnar Lothbrok's sons, he's definitely my favorite. And he may not be the strongest, but he definitely makes this list. Because Bjorn Ironside is so boring. Coming in at number 2, we have Theodore Roosevelt. This man's accomplishments could, being listed off would take longer than this entire video. So I'll just list a couple. He was a champion boxer. He earned a black belt in jiu-jitsu after having to give up boxing because he went blind in a fight with a guy in the Navy. He was a major hunter, who did accomplish many feats. He was a soldier who turned the tide of the Spanish-American War in the Americans' favor. And of course, I have to say this: he is the epitome of all that is man. And, like Ivar, overcame multiple different health conditions throughout his life. I already mentioned the fact that he went blind in one eye, in a fight with a guy in the Navy. But he also was born with severe asthma, had astigmatism, and not sure if this I'm pretty sure this counts as a medical condition, but one time a guy shot him in the chest when he was trying to run for another term as president, and he just straight up gave the speech he was going to give while the paramedics were treating him, at one point basically telling the audience to be quiet because the doctors needed to focus because they may not have realized it, but he has been shot. This guy is the epitome of all that is man, and honestly, that's the most that I can say about him without ranting. And now, before I get to our number one pick, I would like to give an honorable mention to Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War. He is a genius of military strategy whose work is still being studied to this day for the use of military strategy. It was used in World War II, and one of the biggest mistakes in military history, albeit, but in the end, his work is undoubtedly a masterpiece of military strategy. However, the reason he didn't make the list is because, as far as I know, he never set foot on the battlefield. Other than that, however, that's all I can really say. Coming in, and of course, we have the number one pick. At number one, we have Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi is without a doubt the greatest swordsman who has ever lived. The man fought in over 60 duels in his life, winning all of them. And while he did fight on the battlefield, ultimately, his greatest triumphs were in his personal duels. Including one where he faced a guy who was considered his equal. Of course, however, he killed the guy who was his equal in one strike, and then overkilled him with two more. And the way he killed the guy, it wasn't with his swords. It was with a stick that he carved out of a boat oar. Yeah, they weren't equal. And his style of fighting with two katanas is completely, well, I say completely ridiculous. Honestly, it is amazing. I could go on about this guy for a long time, but I'll just say one more thing about him. He was so amazing that he was brought back as a villain in the anime series Baki. Honestly, that's about how ridiculous I can say that. The best way I can say how ridiculous this guy actually was. So, thank you all for watching. If you have a person who you think should have been on this list, let me know in the comments. Of course, thank you all for watching. This is Random Man, signing off.